to the county administrator. And I think anybody out here that has any kind of questions, and because there may be some very redundant ones. And
So there's no public comment, no? Okay.
I'm going to entertain public comment as soon as we're done with this, and absolutely it's public comment. And I think that the consensus of this board right at this point in time is to take questions and to submit those to NDEP.
But I don't, if you have something, some additional comment on this issue or questions, I think we could hear, but what I do share the chair's concern. If it's the same types of questions that we've heard, please submit them and we'll include them in. But Mr. Chair, I believe that the public should be able to address any different comments or question that they may have at this point in time.
Right.
So can I address the board or not?
Absolutely. Well, absolutely. If, what I was referring to was the questions. If you have something else that you would like to address us on this matter, that would be fine at this
We'll
point.
just identify which board in the letter, which ones.
I'm just, all I was doing for point of clarification is that I want to accept the questions, but if you have something different at this time, we will entertain that, if you would.
Okay, and then got caught flat-footed because landfill regulations and a lot of them self-reported. Okay, well, there's reported. Nobody talking about it.
Microphone.
Microphone.
Retired California Superior Court Judge Quentin Cobb, long-time San Francisco supervisor, very well as company, referred to the college recently as a virtual criminal enterprise. An untrustworthy company, virtual criminal enterprise. Virtual criminal enterprises don't self-report. That's who we're dealing with. That's why we're in this situation. That's, well, NDEP has demonstrated intractable allegiance to ecology. For example, claiming to this day that prevailing wind direction in the area is east and west. Does anybody believe the prevailing wind direction is east to west there? Does anybody that lives in this county believe that?
Go to the sand dunes and look.
The sand dunes look. They use 4 wind roses from Cyanco. Berger used 10,000 years of active sand dune migration to prove that prevailing winds are the exactly opposite of what NDEP says. NDEP will say and do anything the ecology tells them.
Well, I still think that MDEF, I know what you're saying, should MDEF be able to answer this and protect themselves or what?
Yeah.
I mean, you're sitting here saying, I don't know, right, whatever, but I mean, nobody from MDEF is out here.
And I know this was all brought up as well with NDEP in that process. And I think those, your concerns are very valid. I think that if those are questions that they can address, I think that would be great. We need to present those.
I think you ought to wait till we set those questions.
Okay, so
I think we'll be more productive. That's all I'm looking at is we could, because we've aired this until the cows come home. And until we can get them up here to address our questions with that, I don't know that we're going to make a lot of headway.
okay, so the format for public submitting questions that we're going to NDEP is.
I think that the public should in writing and submit those to our administrator. And then have those combined. Sooner the better. Yeah, because if you could do that in a very quick and timely manner, we can get it onto the next agenda. If not, we'll have to wait.
Most of the questions are already.
I think between,
I want to make sure that I didn't miss something.
right,
And, because I think we need a concise set of questions that they need to consider before they get here. And,
absolutely.
Didn't we do that in December? All these questions were asked at that meeting.
yeah, I know.
So
I
what's
know,
going to
and that's
matter
what-
if you call them again and ask them?
And that's one of the questions I was going to ask.
And this is relative to the land exchange is where we're at. This The questions that we had submitted before, they dealt with in the appeal. These questions that we're asking of them this time around, my understanding is that they don't have a valid permit because of a land change. And that more concisely gives us where we're at.
And I think the major difference is, Mike, is that up to the day that the permit was issued, we were making comments based on a hypothetical permit that was going to be issued based on a plan of design. So everything was, if you do this, we expect these things to happen. We're now dealing with a permit that's on the ground, been issued, and was issued to a company that involved in self-responsibility. Right now, it's more of a factual thing we're looking at, and that's what NDEP called it when I talked to them. They've got a finding of fact they're actually out looking for right now, trying to figure out how they got from here to here.
Right.
And I think from that standpoint, though, I think there were some things that have been brought up that I think are pertinent to us, and I believe that if whatever we can throw into this thing to at least get this company bring NDEP up to speed.
But Jim, didn't they indicate to you that they were gonna try and find these answers, or?
They were looking for information, is what they said.
They will come, or they will give us those.
They indicated to me that they would come. They didn't know when, they didn't know who.
Well, push it for sooner than later.
Yeah, and I think that's where we come in.
Yes.
I think we've got the urgency to this because of responsibility. We're holding the bag on this thing,
And let's do that. That's hold their feet to the fire. That's fine.
Exactly.
I don't
And
think there's
the
any problem with
purpose,
that.
Mr. Chairman, the purpose of our questions is because, is it not, that we challenge the validity of the permit based on those questions. And I think when we submit those questions, we need to say that we question the validity of the permit. These are the questions that we have. Why are they not compliant with that? I sincerely believe that we should question the validity of the permit.
Tom, I think the question, first two questions on my list is who are the actual owners, operators, and general land? Number two, is NDEP solid waste permit SW 49 5RE E00 valid? And I think that asks the question that they also say, yeah, we think it's valid for these reasons, and or we don't think it's valid, or we think I'm putting words in their mouth. I can't really say it for sure. I know for a fact they did not follow their own protocol with regard to their permit, and for them to change an active permit right now, it'd be like me walking into DMV, giving them the wrong information on registration of a vehicle, and then turn around and call them up later and say, you know what, I missed something on that. Would you please change my title?
So why then,
What we're asking.
so why then don't we simply state that we don't feel the permit's valid?
Well, I did say
Question two.
I did say that. I
We
did.
need to
I
submit
did.
that when we submit our questions, we need to say that Humboldt County does not feel the permit is valid based on this. Let them answer.
I think it's semantics.
Otherwise, we're going to be doing more capitulation.
I don't believe that that's a question, Commissioner Franzway, and I don't have a problem with asking what the process was, what happened, was it a breakdown in the process, does it affect the validity? Those types of questions I think are appropriate. They are the governmental entity that determines whether a permit is valid or not us on this permit. This is their permit. And, but I don't have a problem asking the questions. You know, what effect, if any, do these issues have on the validity of the permit? I think those are fair questions, and I believe that NDEP is very interested in answering the questions that the commission has.
Kevin, you mentioned appeal, or are you talking about?
There was an appeal about the solid waste, there was an appeal on the air quality, and those, many of those questions were addressed in those venues. What's before us today is actually a land matter. That's my understanding. So, and I think that's where we need to go with this. I don't think we need to rehash bold permit type information that they have already addressed. So we need to actually address this part of it, because based on what I'm hearing, they may just decide that this is at the end of the road and we need to start over. But let them make that decision. That's not our decision. But we do absolutely need to pose a question.
Okay, so reference to an appeal, was the air quality permit?
Well, yeah, there was an air quality permit appeal. I remember reading on that, and then there was a solid waste appeal.
Yeah, I was
By
an appellant there.
Right, exactly. And-
And it was a three-person panel.
Correct.
Two of the three people told us flat out that we lost that appeal for lack of expert witness testimony.
Okay.
Which appeal was that?
The HCC, State Environmental Commission appeal, okay?
Was that the one on the
Solid
solid waste?
Solid
committee?
waste.
Okay, not on the air quality, because there was an appeal on that. And that appeal wasn't where Humboldt County submitted its comments from Chief Red Lee. Humboldt County submitted its comments from Chief Red Lee in relation to the consideration for permit, not the appellate process. And they didn't, I can't find in there, Mike, where they even discussed it, even mentioned it. And that was funded by the people of this county. And it was legitimate. It was legitimate by a renowned expert on the issue.
And that needs to be one of the questions that goes to them. They answer.
But, you know, when they fumbled the ball, we reserved the right to recover it and go on offense. And that's not what we're doing. We've been capitulating all the way through. We've had to capitulate because we've had a lawsuit against us, and we were told to by legal counsel that we can't say anything. The lawsuit's over. Now we picked up the phone. We ought to be able to run with it. And I don't think we are. They're going to figure out a way to justify those questions. You guys got it.
Tom, and you and I share a lot of the same views on this. I just have to tell you that with regard to those permits, and the EP is, they hold the ball on us. And the bottom line is, regardless of whether they decide that they missed an opportunity or they did not conduct due diligence, whatever it is their reasoning is for this thing, and I'm going to be curious to hear what that is, they still hold the legal responsibility on that permit. Humboldt County does not, and I wish I could tell you it was different than that. But you know, there may be other legal questions come up as we resolve the ones that are in front of us right now. But I think we need to, rather than throw a bunch of jello at the wall and see how much it sticks, I think what we ought to do is we ought to be very thoughtful about how we present these questions, ask for information so that we can prepare any kind of challenges that we need to prepare.
Jim, this is not jello. This is the real thing.
You know what I mean?
And I can tell you, NEP is not immune to a lawsuit on their own either. It depends on how bad we really want to fight this thing. We have an opportunity right now to take it to them. And I think that we should.
I think we are.
If you want to ask them a few questions and give them whatever time it is to address it and go and do their legal counsel thing and everything, that's.
I guess I want to do.
That's what we want to do.
I guess, Tom, I guess I'm missing your point here, though. What is it you're proposing to do then, other than bringing NDEP into this thing for specifics?
I'm proposing to tell them that their permit's invalid. That's what I'm proposing.
And they could do no different.
And that would be the opinion of the board.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how that changes. How does that factually change anything what we're trying to do? I mean, I think think we've established the fact that we have significant questions as to whether or not this permit is valid. I think we've established that. I think we're asking for the specifics we need in order for us to make that case. And that's what that's all I'm saying. And I think we need to be thoughtful and careful about how we craft this thing, because, it's not about the lawsuit at this point. It's about being able to be able to articulate what we need in order to get NDEP either to come clean with this and put it in the box where we need it. And I keep coming back to Mr. Cook, because I think Mr. Cook, I'm guessing you've got maybe some questions that you would like us to submit on your behalf. Yeah.
And I think there too, and I think we should do that. I think also that we need to make sure that they are, that we need to run those by legal, just to make sure that we're not getting ourselves into another pickle. And submit it, please. That's what we're asking.
I think for us to ask for information. But that's our job. That's what we're here to do. Absolutely.
Good afternoon, Rod Stoll. We have to make sure we're very focused here. There's been a lot of bad blood between us and Recology. We'll all admit to that. This is not Recology's problem. We have to focus in on that. Every time we bring up the name Recology here, that's where it becomes ballistic. That's where it becomes a hot button issue. The truth of the matter is that NDEP has done a dereliction of duty here. They did not properly vet this situation, okay? If in fact those facts are correct, they did not do their job. This board should be able to sue the Department of Motor Vehicles if in fact a 13-year-old walked into the Department of Motor Vehicles, got a driver's license, took a Ferrari, and drove it in the middle of this building. The fact is that yes, somebody did that, and we've already discussed that, but the truth is the dereliction of duty of the Department of Motor Vehicles was what allowed that situation to happen. And that's what's happened here. It's the NDEP's fault, and it's the Attorney General's fault in this state, and they should have to answer to us, the board, of course, but us as the taxpayers. What the hell am I paying the NDEP for if they can't get it straight who they're licensing, who they're not licensing, and who owns whom and what? It's a really important thing that we focus here, because otherwise it becomes name calling and it becomes incendiary. And this is not us versus Recology. This is us versus the Nevada Department of Environmental Protection. And that's really what I think is important here. And I think that's what we really need to focus on. And to tell you the truth, we pay them enough money that they owe us an appearance in these very chairs. And they owe it to all of you in respect to your positions. And to tell you the truth, if Recology's right and they didn't do anything wrong, they owe it to them too. So let's focus, let's hit the ball out of the park, and thank you.
Thanks, Ron. Appreciate it.
I still say that's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing.
Just need a motion, or we're just gonna.
For clarification, we've invited questions to be submitted to the administrator's office. I can assist. Are you interested in having a letter signed by the chairman on behalf of the commissioners? These are the questions that the chair, that the Board of County Commissioners would like to be addressed by NDEP. I can assist.